Hi. So it occurred to me just a few minutes ago to say something short, unscripted, about my motivation, the drive for being involved in artificial intelligence and knowledge management. And this question's come up, yeah, from time to time over the years, but I've never really formalized my answer, but I do know anyway, um, what it is. So let me see if I can say something very brief, but very true and honest about this. I suppose the first thing I'd like to say is I've always been aware knowledge management isn't everything. I mean, obvious point, but yeah, I'm really keen on it, but it's not everything. And probably the greater thing that we need to do in life and in the world is, have compassion and act on compassion. Um, but I just thought that whole side of it was not going to be the main area in which I would practically work. You don't set it aside, the need to empathize and care about people and creatures and ecosystems and sustainability and all of these important high value um, outcomes doesn't go away and comes through all of your work. But some people really make that the core of their work. And maybe that would be some people who are working in very person to person, maybe therapy, medical treatment areas, and so on and so on. They really make that the core driver of their work. And I think that is the greater and most important thing. But my point about that is I didn't make that the core focus of my work, but I took it with me and keep it with me always as being a very highly important um, set of values and goals. So yeah, first of all, compassion and all of that stuff that I alluded to is more important than knowledge. So where does the knowledge bit come in? I always felt I would be better working on the practical so what side of it. So if we have a basically compassionate and a high value goal, as I said, towards the well-being of people and life and ecosystems and so on, if we have a very good goal like that, what are then some of the practical, complicated sometimes aspects of what you need to do? And something I remember from early life and still that strikes me is how slow and sometimes never is the process of the diffusion of science and technology, the diffusion of the best practices, the best ways that we have found of doing things into everywhere where we do those things. So yeah, I was very much always of the thought that a huge amount could be better if we more quickly got, the best, most productive, most effective ideas that we've discovered as a species, as humans, from those places out to everywhere else, always understanding that context is important. And we're not going to go off in this short talk into all the alleys and byways of this. Yeah, there's a lot more to be said on all of these issues, but I know that was a key thought of mine and still is. And when we say that, knowledge management covers the know what, the know how, the know who, it's the know how that has mostly attracted me. And yes, all of us are motivated by the value of knowledge sharing, but it's also the learning from experience and the innovation, and innovation in the sense of trying new ideas that could be brand new or just new to us, learning from experience, improving, sharing that out, and sharing being a taking and using as well as an offering and giving thing. So how do you end up doing AI and KM? I think these choices are always going to be a mix of context and opportunity and your basic drive. It could have been something else, but choices I made, the way things fell out, I came across AI early on. I was already thinking, we weren't talking in terms of knowledge management, but about those themes that I mentioned. And it seemed to me that the technology was going to be a really important way of encapsulating and embedding and sharing and spreading the best knowledge, the best ways of doing things. And from my work in AI, encountering knowledge in the wild, doing knowledge elicitation, knowledge modeling, trying to embed that into real solutions that worked in real places and real organizations, I could see there was a lot more to it. And when I got the very first hints of hearing about this new conceptualization of knowledge management coming from the US, coming from Japan, probably in the sort of early mid 90s, I thought, that's for me. Thanks.